Dear students of Honors Second Year, this is Shaila Parveen, Assistant Professor of English Department. Welcome you back to my class on Riders to the Sea, Part 3. In my two previous classes, you got some information about the writer JMC and the one-act play Riders to the Sea. Today, I am going to discuss different features of Moria's character which made her a unique tragic heroine. So let us start our today's discussion. Character analysis of Moria, the protagonist of the one-act play Riders to the Sea. From the beginning till the end of the play, we see Moria as a strong woman. She is the principal character in Synge's play Riders to the Sea. The whole play is a drama of her sorrows. By the time the play opens, she has already lost 6 members of her family, 4 of her sons, her husband and her father-in-law. Another of her son is missing. In her life, miseries are piled up one over the other. But these sorrows cannot shatter her personality. She has a tremendous power of endurance in the face of the worst disasters that can happen to a mother. Misfortunes cannot break down her spirit. Though Moria has a very strong mental ability to endure pains, she is no exception of a typical mother. She is a misfortunate mother who lives entirely for the welfare of her children. She is praying for them all the time. She had a lot of trouble in giving birth and bringing up her children. They grew to be 6 strong young men, but she started swallowing them up, and at the end she was left only with her 2 daughters. The poor mother's prayers could not save them. All that she wants to do now is to give them a decent burial. Moria is an ignorant and superstitious woman. She is a Roman Catholic Christian, but she believes in all the superstitions which are very common in Aran Islands. She sees ominous signs and mystic visions. A star seen close to the moon indicates a disaster to her. She shows argument against Bartley's going to the sea by saying that wind is rising the sea and there will star up against the moon, and it rising the night. That means this rare incident must be eventful. Again, seeing Michael's riding on the pony is nothing but Moria's hallucination that is the result of failing to give bread and to wish Bartley God's bliss. But she is certain that Michael has come to take his brother to the other world. Since earlier she utters bad things on account of failing to stop Bartley from going to the sea in a rough weather. Moria also believes in the efficacy of the holy water collected in the dark nights. She sprinkles this water on Michael's clothes and also on Bartley's dead body, believing that they too will rest in peace. In the course of the play, we see Moria as a deeply affectionate mother for her family. She prohibits Bartley again and again from going to sell the horse, because the weather is so bad that he must fall in a rough time on the sea. She tells that she has no need of money, wealth and horses, if he, the only living male member of the family, is not alive. She says, if it was 100 horses or 1,000 horses you had itself, what is the price of 1,000 horses against a son where there is one son only? And this utterance is really pathetic. When Bartley doesn't listen to her prohibition, she says, its hardship will be surely the day you are drowned with the rest. What way will I live and the girls with me, and I am an old woman looking for the grave? At last, when he is still on his decision, she bitterly says, isn't it a hard and cruel man won't hear a word from an old woman, and she holding him from the sea? All the statements of Moria comes from her extreme affection for her son. Moria shows great courage when Bartley's dead body is brought before her. She is in fact an idol of patience. She recalls her past sorrows and finds consolation in the fact that the sea, having done its worst, cannot do any greater injury to her now. None of her dear ones will go to sea now, and so she will have no need to cry or to pray for someone's safety. She says, they are all gone now, and there isn't anything more the sea can do to me. I will have no call now to be up crying and praying when the wind breaks from the south. Though Moria has endured lots of pain in her life, She has a strong faith in God, and this faith remains firm in spite of the fact that God has not heard her prayers in the past. She prays for peace not only for the souls of her son, but for the whole of mankind. In her contest with the sea, she is defeated, but the law of nature is that everyone who is born must die. Her family can do no exception to the law of mortality. So at the end, she bows before the divine plan. She says, Michael has a clean burial in the far north by the grace of the Almighty God. Bartley will have a fine coffin out of the white boards and a deep grave surely. What more can we want than that? No man at all can be living forever. We must be satisfied. Moria is a religious woman, a devoted Christian, but experienced by the root Atlantic. She regularly prays to God to save her sons and believes in God. But when Nora says, didn't the young priest say the Almighty God won't leave her destitute with no son living? She says, it's little the like of him knows of the sea. Bartley will be lost now. It indicates that the sea used to play cruel games with them, but till the end of the play we see that Moria has strong belief in God. At last in the play, we see that Moria becomes the mother not only of Bartley or Michael, but she prays, may the Almighty God have mercy on Bartley's soul and on Michael's soul and Stephen and Sean, and may he have mercy on my soul, Nora, and on the soul of everyone is left living in the world. So, at last we see that she transforms from an individual mother to a universal mother. At the end, Moria resigns herself to her cruel fate. Like a true Stoic, she doesn't complain about the cruelty of God or destiny. Even at the time of her worst misfortune, she finds consolation in the fact that now she will not have to cry or pray for anyone, and she will have a long rest and undisturbed sleep during the long winter nights. After this discussion, we can say that Moria is a truly great tragic figure. She doesn't suffer because of any flaw in her own character. She is the victim of fate. The sea has swallowed all the menfolk of her family, and she is left utterly destitute. In the fight between man and the sea, she is defeated, but she is not crushed down. She finds consolation in the fact that nothing worse can happen to her. Now she will have peace and sound sleep. Her sufferings are great, but she rises above them. In the end, this peasant woman, by her stoic acceptance of her cruel destiny, attains tragic greatness and becomes a true heroine of this grim tragedy. Well, dear students, that is the end of my discussion on Moria's character. Thank you for listening.